Hi there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Capital A Trading, and welcome to another episode of my Forex Weekly. For those of you that are new, it's just a video where I go through the charts, explain the best investment opportunities that I can see for the week, show you how I'm going to tackle them, and of course bring them to you. If that sounds good, if you trade, if you take investments, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. There's a lot of exciting content coming from now until the end of the year. Quick shout out to my sponsors, the Absolutely magazine. Thank you for everything, and I'm looking forward to being on the new edition. Again, check that out. It's available now in all Waitrose and M&S stores. If you're new to trading and want to learn the skill and be able to take investments for yourself, all at your own fingertips, head over to my website, www.capitalatrading.co.uk. You can read more about the mentorship program there. With that being said, we're going to get into the charts, and of course, as always, start with them fundamentals.
First up, always important to check the fundamentals for the week. The week starts very quiet Monday and Tuesday. Nothing really to worry about. We will check that pound speech there, see if anything happens. But again, not expecting much. The week then kicks off with Wednesday. We then have the Canadian dollars interest rate decision. That's going to be interesting. It's going to be around 3 o'clock, just after the New York Open. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. We then go to Thursday, where we will have the yen's interest rate decision. We'll be looking for movements in them pairs, so be aware of that when we go through the charts in a second. Of course, later that day, we then have the Euro's interest rate decision. Friday, nothing really to write about, nothing that's really going to worry me. The main action is going to be on Wednesday and Thursday. So let's keep an eye out for that. Let's look out for the movements. Let's get into the charts now to see where we can see some impacts. Okay, going to start on gold as always. And again, there was some interesting piece of price action on Friday. This is what happened. Price shot up towards the 1810 level and had a rejection. It feels like there's something there. It feels like we could get a trading position next week if price action looks good at the start on Monday. So this is what I'm looking to see. First of all, we want to see price progress from around this 1790 level, just come back up towards the 1820, possibly 1825. This is the piece of price action that I want to see get interacted with. And then, of course, hopefully we can see a push down from there. So keep an eye on that. That's what I want to see for the start of the week. Hopefully by Wednesday, if it's there, if price is struggling, we can take a trading opportunity. Very similar opportunity on gold euro. Again, very similar with everything that happened Friday, had the projection. This is the piece of price action that I want to see get played into on the 10th of June. And again, we should hopefully get a price rejection from around the 1560, 1570 level. That's what I'm predicting. It can come above this level. So let's just keep an eye on that and see what happens. That's gold USD and gold euro. Okay, next up is going to be the US 30. This week, really going to put this one on the back burner. I was expecting a sell move from around the 35,200 level. It had one good day of bearish action. And then, of course, the rest of the week just powered through on bullish and made a new high, grabbing a key liquidity area. So there was a move pending to the downside, but I think it's going to hold up here for a week at least. So keep an eye on that one. Again, it's going to be the US 30. Let's let it play out. Let's see if we can maybe catch something next week. The UK 100, for those of you who follow me, you'll know I've been hunting this down for ages. And now I am saying that the move one of these weeks is going to eventually come through. If I just show you the weekly picture, we're so close to the area that I want to see get interacted with. If I then come on to the daily last week, we had price not really go anywhere, kind of struggle in the area. It kind of created a piece of price action that I'm happy to see. It looks like it's going to start a trend down as I come down the time frames. I'm just going to monitor this area here, see what happens around the 7240, 7260. I'm going to look to get a position, and then I'm pretty sure soon we're going to see price power back towards at least the 7,000 level. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the UK 100. Yeah, the currencies. First up, euro pound. This is kind of like an update move from last week. The first two here are going to be the USD Swiss Franc as well. Let me start on the euro pound. Of course, I've been waiting on this area. We had some good movements, some familiar price action, some little movements down. I feel like this week now we can really be ready to see this move from this area around the 84,800 to the 85 mark. If I just move to the 2 hour, this is the area that I'm looking at. This is the piece of price action. And then again, on the 1 hour, you can see here, this is what I'm looking to play from. And again, let's see if we get the rejection. All I want to see is price struggling a bit like it is here in that area. And then I think we're going to get a bigger move from that level. That was the euro pound. This was mentioned in my Discord last week. And again, this was another one, a good move. The USD Swiss Franc, a move that was called perfectly from the 92,500, 92,600 level, shot down from there, made a new low, So we know that a piece of price actions definitely happened somewhere in here where the market makers have stepped in. So this is the piece that I'm looking to play from, around the 92,300, 92,400. I'm looking to see this US dollar start the week strong, pushing back towards this area. And then, of course, hopefully we see the Swiss franc gain some strength, maybe from Wednesday to Thursday, later part of the week. Keep an eye on them too. That's going to be the Euro Pound and the USD Swiss franc. These will be updated in my Discord. Okay, next up is going to be the Pound USD. First of all, I just want to speak about this weekly structure and just how we've got a little bearish action forming. We've pulled back towards an area where if it's going to continue, we should be looking for the sell. I'll just break it down. We come down to the daily. We can start to see the area. This is the candle that I'm going to focus on, the one that happened on the 14th of September. And as you can see, prices come to it and the body's stuck with that level. And we've had a little rejection. So what I'm going to see now is just how price is going to play with this area around the 138,500. It can come to the 139 due to this piece of price action over here. This is what I'm looking at. So going to see how the week starts. Just want to see it kind of come back towards the top of here, stick just underneath the 38,500. If that starts to happen, I'll be confident in taking a position for the later part of the week. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the Pound USD. Very similar story on the Euro USD. Again, we've got a little bearish action forming. I just want to see, of course, this is going to be classed as a structure break. It tells me that price does have to come back to this level at least. So again, a nice little range of pips there. If I just break it down onto the 4 hour, that's the level I want to see get interacted with. I want to see the week start strong, stick with this level, maybe the 117 as well, give it a bit of space to breathe. And I believe we're going to get a move powering to the downside in a later part of the week. That's the Pound USD and the Euro USD. Okay, next up is going to be the Pound NZD. For those of you who follow me, you'll know there's been a great move recently from the 196,500 mark that was mentioned. And as you can see, we've had a monstrous move over the past couple of weeks, almost completing a 500 pip range. So again, just be aware of these videos, be aware of what's being mentioned now. With this one here, I just want to see price come back towards the 195 level. I believe there's been something left up there. Again, with this little piece of price action now, 194,500, I'm going to give it a bit of space to breathe. Somewhere in there, I'm expecting price to come to this week, have a rejection, and then hopefully we can see price pushing to the downside. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the Pound NZD. Next up, going to be the Pound CAD. Now, the first thing I want to mention is this weekly time frame, just that we're basically back into a key buying level. As you can see, there's been some really good pushes from around this 1.7 level. And again, that may happen. So if I just come down to the daily, I just want to explain some piece of price action last week. This candle here on the 1st of October, last week wasn't able to go higher than it, tapped into it, but wasn't able to beat the area. And then Friday started to just show a little bit of bearish action. So again, keep an eye on that one around the 171 level. You may get a sell position from there, but of course, remember the higher time frame looks like we may get a push even higher. So again, it's about keeping an open mind on this one. Remember, we've got the Canadian interest rate decision on Wednesday, I believe, if I'm correct. So just keep an eye on that one. Let's see what happens. Let's see how the week starts. If it looks like it's just going to sit here and then push, I'll be focusing on the buy. If it's going to continue struggling, I'm going to focus on the sell. That's the Pound CAD. Another one to keep an open mind on is going to be the Pound Aussie. Now, again, for those of you who follow me, you'll know that there's been some free great moves, free perfect entries, free moves that pulled off perfectly from the recent last month videos. Now we're heading towards the buy-in area, where if we're going to get a buy push, I believe it's going to come from around the 182 level. So again, I'm expecting this bearish action to continue this week. The best thing to do would be to see price pull back up towards this area here, towards the 185,500. Let's see price get struggled here in this market gap. So a bit of rejection in this market gap here. And then hopefully we can continue seeing the push to the downside with the bearish trend that's been forming. So keep an eye on that one. Again, expect the Australian dollar to gain strength during the night. That's when the move would usually take off. Keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the Pound Aussie. Next up is going to be the Pound Yen. Again, there was a trade mentioned on this weekly time frame around that 155, 156 level, and it roughly gave around a 650 pip move to the downside before eventually within 2 quick weeks reaching up and grabbing this area, grabbing all the liquidity, all the money that's going to be up here. Now this week, we've got the yen's interest rate decision. So all I'm looking to see is this just power down and keep moving to the downside. We may get a retest. You may see price just pull back up towards that 158 level, start struggling under there. There is plenty of room for price to start pushing back down with all these blue candles that rose up. So keep an eye on that one. That's going to be the pound yen. Again, try to synchronize that with the interest rate decision. And of course, the euro yen looks even better. Now, this one has not reached up and grabbed the liquidity. It's played off the area that I mentioned last week perfectly. So yes, we now know that the area means something. It holds weight in the market. And again, it's just a simple retest back towards the 133 level. And then hopefully, if it's in line with the yen's interest rate decision timing, we may get that, may power the move, and you may see price really shoot to the downside, at least towards the 129 level. Keep an eye on that one. It's going to be the pound yen and the euro yen. Next up is going to be the USD CAD. Now, this is all really going to depend on how strong that Canadian dollar's interest rate decision is going to be. On this chart, I'm expecting to see the USD get stronger, and I'll explain why. On the weekly time frame, we've just come to a key area. We've had the sign of struggle. Will we get the push now? If I just come down to a daily, as you can see, I've had an area marked up. Price has shown some good signs of struggling last week. All 5 days really got out of the box. The body's almost reaching out, but again, sticking to this area quite nicely. Again, it's the 123 level. So let's just be aware of that. Let's see if we can get a position around that number and then expect at some point in the week to see some US dollar strength. That's the USD CAD. Last but not least, it's going to be the Nzd USD. Now, again, this was an area that I mentioned last week around that 71,572 level. And of course, price eventually got there on Wednesday, struggled on Thursday, Friday, just started to show a little bit of movement to the downside. So again, it's just about watching price retest, come back towards this level, show me that you can't go higher. I like this when you see the bodies at the same level sticking. That's the signs of struggle that I want to see. And then hopefully we can get a position. And again, I'm expecting this to at least come towards the 70 level where there's a nice market gap there and a nice target for price to get to. So keep an eye on that one. Again, we're expecting to see some US dollar strength. That's the Nzd USD.
Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Again, that's all from me this week. My advice, have a look at a couple of them investment opportunities, pick out 2 or 3, stick with them, monitor them, and see how they progress throughout the week. Again, if that sounds good, if you trade, if you take investments, hit that subscribe button in the bottom right corner. Stay up to date with the channel. Like I said at the start, there's some exciting things coming very, very soon. Quick shout out to my sponsors, The Absolutely Magazine. Thank you for all your support, all your hard work. You can read my article. It's on page 95. Check it out. Really good read. With that being said, guys, have a great trading week, and I'll see you next week.